GR86 is getting a new exhaust. Temporarily, you saw the last video, this is for the FRS to replace the old NVIDIA N1 that's been on there for like 6 years now. This is a valved exhaust, as you know from the title. This will be on here for a little bit just to test it out until we can get it on the FRS when that gets back home. But the GR86 already has a Tomei single exit. It's a Type 80 titanium, sounds amazing, and it's about 20 pounds or more lighter over the stock exhaust. So we're gonna go ahead, get the old exhaust off, get this one kind of mocked up, and there's a bit more involved with this because it is valve, so you have control boxes and modules and wiring and everything else that has to get ran. We're not gonna be driving around with this on the car. I will give you some sound clips of the before and after just to give you a comparison between the Tomei versus the X-Force. This one is going to use all the hangers, just like the OEM exhaust, because it is a fairly large muffler. This one does have a little flex pipe here, which is kind of nice if you have trouble getting things lined up. Here's the motor for the valve that's in the muffler. And here is the control box, which is Bluetooth, connects right to the OBD2 port, and then has all the wiring and GPS module and everything else to do all the connections. Now, I'm not going to be running the wires throughout the car because this is just a temporary install just to get a sound clip, see how it looks, and how difficult the installation process really is. The most time-consuming part of this install is probably just going to be running wires, making sure everything looks clean and out of the way. But as far as installs go, the exhaust systems on these cars are super straightforward and quick to do. That took about all of 5 minutes to remove, and it takes maybe 20 minutes to put it in if you're just gonna throw it in there, but a little bit longer if you really wanna get the placement of the tip just right in the cutouts. So yeah, we'll go ahead, start getting this in there. Like I said, very simple install. If you've ever done an exhaust on anything, one of these is gonna be a cakewalk. Go ahead and get this in, and then I'll go over kind of the wiring again once we get to that stage. Got this part in, pretty straightforward. Just get those lined up with the hangers, get one side in, then you'll have to pull these out just to get them to fit around, but then they slide in super easy. These aren't, I don't think, as big as like the OEM hangers. Pretty easy, and I just use a little bit of soapy water as a slip solution to get those to slide in and out easily. Rather use that than like PB Blast or WD-40, because then you're gonna get shit dripping on you. When you get that dripping on your clothes or in your mouth or in your eyes, you kind of switch to something that you don't mind getting on you. So, and it works just as good. Now I have this plugged in, and then the wires for it just hanging for now. And there's the valve inside of there. You can see it's got some cutouts, so when it is closed, exhaust will be cycling through this. When you have the valve open, it's just gonna be a straight shot out. Everything is bolted in and tightened down. Now for the satisfying part. Now with these being separate for the tips, you can be all flashy and stick them out like that, or do what I personally think looks best, just peeking out. Okay, so the wiring for this is actually super basic, straightforward. There's really not, it's not wiring, it's just plugging things in. So you have your cigarette lighter is in behind the glove box. So plug that in, and that is the wire that's coming from the valve in the muffler. And if we trace this back, the other end plugs it into the control box here, and they're all labeled underneath. So 12 volt cigarette lighter plugs in there. Then you have another plug here that says OBD2. That is the one that you will hook up to your OBD2 port. And then the last one is for the key fob, which that is just this little connector that plugs into this box here, which allows you to control the valve with these little fobs. And it came with 2 of these. You should have the lights on both boxes there. And I don't know if you can, how well you can tell, but it's pretty quiet right now. A little bit louder than stock. But then valve's just opened. Quite a bit louder. And it still sounds actually pretty good. We'll see if we can do it while it's running. Yeah, it's a pretty noticeable difference. Go ahead and shut this off since I have just wires routed everywhere. I'm gonna set the phone up. Once that thing decides to shut off, I'll set the phone up outside so you can hear a difference between the valves closed and valves open. It's actually not bad at all. I am pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what I was expecting. We are coming from a Tomei exhaust, which sounds just beautiful on this car, but this exhaust sounds really good. So the key fobs for the active exhaust are actually pretty nice to have, convenient, quick, but you can't really control or know how open the valve is actually getting, or if it's fully closed, or how long to press and hold, or things like that. The cool thing about the system is the app. Now you can customize the percentages as far as how open or closed the valve is. You just go into the app, you click which one you want. If you want it fully open, click that. It'll automatically set it to fully open. If you want it 30%, it'll set it to 30%. So you have different varying degrees of that valve being open. You also can set it through their geo system. Say there's a residential area or a police station or anything like that. You can set that area so when your phone is connected, if you're driving in that area, it'll automatically close the valve to be quieter and then open back up as soon as you're outside of the zone that you set. It's kind of cool. So overall, I really like this exhaust. It looks good, sounds good, and has a lot of functionality with it that would be convenient for multiple situations, you name it. The app has a ton of cool features, and the install is very simplistic, even with the modules and wires and everything else. Hardest thing about this is just figuring out where to run that wire. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be taking this one out to get some sound clips, just because we have some interference here, potentially with the tire. I just don't want a chance damaging anything anymore until we can get this fixed. So I'm gonna be taking this exhaust off, putting the Tomei back on, and then next thing is we'll be putting this exhaust onto the FRS as soon as we get it back home. Let me know down in the comments, is it worth $1,500 or would you be better off going some other route? I can definitely see the benefits of having a valved exhaust, especially with all the extra features that this one has with the Bluetooth app. So it is pretty cool in my opinion.